Your mind is not just a place where random thoughts appear. It is the control center of your entire life. Every action you take, every word you speak, every decision you make, first exists as a thought. That means whatever you allow to live in your mind will eventually shape the way you live in the world. This is why you must guard your mind like a sacred place. Imagine your mind as a temple. Inside this temple, there is beauty, peace, and clarity. But this beauty can be ruined if you leave the doors wide open for anything or anyone to enter. Too many people live their lives with an open door policy for their mind. They let every opinion, every piece of gossip, every complaint from others come in without question. And over time, this mental space becomes polluted. The temple turns into a market full of noise, distractions, and things that do not belong there. To guard your mind is to take responsibility for what enters it. This means you do not allow every idea to plant itself inside you. You do not let every voice influence you. You learn to filter, to choose, to protect. Just as you would never allow someone to throw garbage into your home, you must not allow toxic thoughts to be thrown into your mind. People often underestimate the power of a single negative thought. But a thought is like a seed. If you let it stay, it will grow roots. And once it grows, it will produce fruit, either good or bad. One seed of doubt can grow into a tree of fear. One seed of anger can grow into a forest of resentment. One seed of insecurity can grow into a life of hesitation and missed opportunities. This is why you cannot be careless with the seeds you let in. Guarding your mind is not about avoiding the truth or pretending negativity doesn't exist. It is about choosing what you give attention to. You will always hear opinions. You will always see negativity in the world. But you have the power to decide whether those things enter and take root inside you. This is not ignorance, this is discipline. Think about it. You filter the food you eat, making sure it is safe for your body. You filter the water you drink, ensuring it is clean. You filter the air you breathe if the environment is polluted. But when it comes to the mind, most people forget to filter. They consume anything, news, social media, conversations, without asking whether it is healthy for their mental state. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, angry, or hopeless. When you guard your mind, you become selective about what you consume mentally. You start asking, does this strengthen me or weaken me? Does this inspire me or drain me? Does this move me closer to my purpose or pull me away from it? If the answer is negative, you shut the door, not with hatred, but with wisdom. You understand that your mind has limited space and energy, so you will only fill it with what serves your highest good. Guarding your mind also means protecting it from your own destructive patterns. Sometimes the intruder is not from the outside, it is your own voice repeating old fears, mistakes, and regrets. You must learn to catch these thoughts before they settle in. You do this by becoming aware of them, observing them without judgment, and then replacing them with thoughts that align with who you want to become. This is not an easy practice. It requires daily vigilance. The world is constantly throwing information at you. Advertisements telling you what to want, people telling you what to fear, and your past reminding you of what you failed. Without awareness, these things will quietly occupy your mind. And the more they stay, the more they shape you. Guarding your mind is also about the company you keep. Words are powerful, and the words of those closest to you can either build you or break you. Surround yourself with people whose thoughts and speech nourish your mind. This doesn't mean you avoid everyone who has struggles or negativity, but it does mean you protect your inner state by not letting their chaos become yours. Your mind is a sacred place because it is the only place where you truly meet yourself. Everything you are, everything you dream of, everything you fear, it all lives there. If you lose control over your mind, you lose control over your life. But if you master the art of guarding it, you will begin to live with a clarity and strength most people never experience. And here is the truth this discipline compounds. The more you practice guarding your mind, the more natural it becomes. At first, it will feel like constant work, rejecting certain conversations, avoiding certain media, replacing certain thoughts, but with time, it becomes instinct. You will no longer have to fight so hard because your mind will have developed a natural resistance to what does not serve it. Remember, no one else will protect your mind for you. No one will stand guard at the gates of your thoughts except you. So take this role seriously. Treat your mental space as you would treat the most valuable treasure, because that is what it is. From your mind, everything else in your life flows. Your emotions, your choices, your actions, your destiny. So be the guardian. Be the protector. Let only what is worthy enter. Remove what does not belong. And with time, you will see that by guarding your mind like a sacred place, you have built a life of strength, focus, and peace. Too many people believe that correct thinking means being positive all the time. They think they must ignore pain, avoid difficulty, and replace every problem with a smile. But this is not strength, it is avoidance. Real strength comes from clarity, not forced positivity. Positivity can be useful, but without clarity it becomes a mask. It is like putting fresh flowers in dirty water. The flowers look beautiful for a moment, but they will wither because the environment is unclean. In the same way, if your thinking is built on illusions, no amount of positive words will give it lasting power. Clarity means seeing reality as it truly is, without distortion, without sugarcoating, and without fear. It is about removing the fog from your mind so you can make decisions based on truth. Sometimes, the truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes, it tells you things you do not want to hear. But this discomfort is the path to growth. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. You cannot overcome what you deny exists. People who chase positivity without clarity often become blind to danger. They convince themselves that everything is fine, even when their life is falling apart. They ignore warning signs in their health, their relationships, and their finances because they do not want to feel negative emotions. But ignoring reality does not make it disappear. It only delays the moment when you must face it, and by the time you do, the damage is often much greater. Clarity, on the other hand, gives you the power to respond with wisdom. If you see a weakness in yourself, you address it before it becomes a chain around your neck. If you see trouble ahead, you prepare for it before it arrives. Clarity allows you to face life with open eyes and a steady mind. You are not hiding from the truth, you are working with it. Correct thinking means you do not run away from problems. You meet them with understanding. You do not deceive yourself with false comfort. You strengthen yourself with truth. This does not mean you become a cold, emotionless person. It means you allow your emotions to be guided by reality, not by wishful thinking. Think of a warrior. Before battle, he does not tell himself, "There is no enemy, everything will be fine." That would be foolish. Instead, he studies the battlefield, learns about his opponent, sharpens his weapons, and prepares his strategy. His strength comes from knowing exactly what he is facing, and because he has clarity, he can also have confidence. Not blind confidence, but confidence rooted in readiness. Clarity also helps you understand your own mind better. You begin to see which thoughts are yours and which are planted by others. You notice the patterns that keep you trapped. You recognize the lies you have been telling yourself, lies like, "I'm not good enough," "It's too late," or "I can't change." With clarity, you can challenge these lies and replace them with truths that empower you. Sometimes clarity will require you to let go of people, habits, or environments that you once held close. This can be painful, but it is necessary. If something is poisoning your mind, you cannot keep it and expect to grow. You must have the courage to create space for what is good, even if it means stepping into the unknown. It is important to understand that clarity and positivity can work together, but clarity must come first. When you see reality clearly, your positivity becomes a choice, not a shield. You can look at a difficult situation and say, "Yes, this is hard, but I am capable of handling it." That is real positivity, one that is backed by truth, not denial. Clarity is also the foundation of trust in yourself. When you know that you are willing to face reality, no matter how uncomfortable, you stop fearing life's surprises. You know that whatever comes, you will meet it with open eyes and a clear mind. This trust in yourself is far more valuable than any empty words of encouragement. To develop clarity, you must train your awareness. Watch your thoughts without rushing to label them as good or bad. Ask questions. Why do I believe this? Where did this idea come from? Does it align with my values and my goals? This process of questioning sharpens your mind like polishing a blade. It removes the dust of assumptions and reveals the truth underneath. Be willing to hear the truth even when it challenges you. Surround yourself with people who value honesty over comfort. Read, listen, and learn from those who help you see more clearly, not just those who make you feel good. Feeling good has its place, but understanding the truth will serve you for a lifetime. Remember, clarity is not the absence of emotion. It is the balance of emotion and truth. You will still feel fear, sadness, and frustration at times, but you will not be controlled by them. Instead, you will use them as signals, guiding you toward what needs your attention. When you think with clarity, life becomes simpler. Not easier, but simpler. You stop wasting energy on illusions. You stop fighting battles that are not yours. You stop chasing things that do not matter. You move forward with focus and purpose, because you know exactly where you are and where you are going. Clarity is the compass of correct thinking. Without it, you may walk for years and never reach your destination. With it, every step takes you closer to the life you are meant to live. And once you have it, you will see that positivity is no longer something you have to force. It flows naturally from knowing you are walking in truth. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools for correct thinking is to ask yourself 3 questions before you accept any thought into your mind. Is this true? Is this useful? Is this mine? These 3 questions act like a filter, separating the thoughts that deserve your attention from the ones that will only distract, weaken, or harm you. The first question, is this true, forces you to confront the reality of what you are thinking. So many of the ideas in your head are not based on facts but on assumptions, fears, or other people's opinions. You might think, I'm not capable of doing this, or people don't like me. But is that actually true? Or is it a story you've been telling yourself without evidence? This question cuts through the fog. If a thought is not rooted in truth, it has no right to stay in your mind. Truth is not always comfortable. Sometimes you will discover that something you believed for years is false. That realization can feel like losing a part of yourself. But what you lose is only the illusion. What you gain is freedom. The truth is the foundation for all strong thinking. Without it, every decision you make is built on unstable ground. The second question, is this useful? Reminds you that even if a thought is true, it might not be worth keeping. For example, maybe it is true that you failed at something in the past. But is it useful to keep repeating that memory in your mind every day? Does holding on to it help you grow, or does it drain your energy? Correct thinking is not about holding every truth in your head. It is about holding the truths that serve your purpose. When you ask, is this useful? You are training your mind to focus on what moves you forward. Life gives you countless pieces of information every day, but not all of them are worth carrying. You must become selective. If a thought does not help you act wisely, strengthen your spirit, or bring you closer to your goals, let it go. Your mind is like a garden. If you fill it with weeds, there will be no space for flowers to grow. The third question, is this mine? Is one that most people never think to ask, yet it may be the most important. Many of the thoughts you carry are not even yours. They were planted in you by parents, teachers, friends, media, or society. Some of these thoughts may serve you, but many will not. If you grew up hearing that life is unfair, or people can't be trusted, you might carry those ideas without ever questioning them. But are they truly your beliefs, or are they simply borrowed? Asking, is this mine, gives you the power to return what does not belong to you. Just because someone handed you a thought does not mean you have to keep it. You can choose to accept only the thoughts that align with your values, your experience, and your truth. This is how you reclaim ownership of your mind. These three questions work together like guards at the gate of your mental temple. The first guard checks for truth. The second checks for usefulness. The third checks for ownership. If a thought fails any of these checks, it does not enter. This is how you protect your mind from becoming overcrowded with fear, doubt, and noise. The beauty of this method is its simplicity. You don't need hours of meditation or endless study to apply it. You only need awareness, the discipline to pause before accepting a thought, and the courage to reject it if it fails the test. At first, you might forget to ask these questions in the moment. That is normal. But the more you practice, the more automatic it will become. Over time, your mind will naturally filter thoughts before they take root. This process will change not only the way you think but also the way you speak and act. When your thoughts are rooted in truth, usefulness, and personal ownership, your words carry more weight. Your actions become more deliberate. You stop reacting out of habit and start responding with clarity. People will notice the difference. They may not know the exact reason, but they will feel your stability, your presence, your focus. It is important to understand that rejecting a thought does not mean ignoring reality. If a thought is true but not useful, you acknowledge it and then set it aside. If a thought belongs to someone else, you recognize where it came from and decide whether to adopt it. This is not denial, it is selection. You are not running from thoughts, you are curating them, keeping only the ones that serve your higher purpose. And here is the deeper truth: when you stop letting false, useless, and borrowed thoughts live in your mind, you make space for creativity, inspiration, and wisdom to grow. Most people think they need to add more knowledge to become wiser, but often they need to remove the mental clutter first. A clear mind does not just hold thoughts, it generates new ones, ideas that are truly yours, born from your unique experience and perspective. So begin today. The next time a thought enters your mind, whether it is about yourself, someone else, or the world, pause and ask, is this true? Is this useful? Is this mine? If it fails even one of these tests, let it go. The strength of your life will be built on the strength of your thoughts, and these three questions are the foundation of that strength. People often believe that if they can fix their surroundings, they will feel at peace. They change jobs, move to new cities, buy new clothes, rearrange their homes, or even change the people around them, hoping that these external changes will bring them happiness. But they soon discover that the same frustrations, fears, and doubts follow them wherever they go. Why? Because the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. If there is disorder inside, no amount of order outside will bring lasting peace. Think of your life like a mirror. Whatever is happening inside your mind will eventually show itself in the way you speak, act, and experience the world. If your thoughts are chaotic, your decisions will be chaotic. If your heart is full of resentment, your relationships will carry that bitterness. If your mind is clouded with doubt, your actions will be hesitant and scattered. The outer world will always reveal what is happening within. This is why correct thinking begins with creating order inside. If you try to arrange your life without arranging your mind first, you will constantly be fighting the same battles. You may clear the mess for a while, but it will return, because the source of the mess is not outside, it is within. To create order inside, you must first become aware of the mental clutter you carry. This clutter takes many forms: old grudges, unnecessary worries, unhealed disappointments, unexamined beliefs. Some of it has been there for years, quietly shaping the way you see yourself and the world. You cannot simply ignore it and hope it will disappear. You must face it, understand it, and decide whether it belongs in your life. Creating inner order does not mean erasing every difficult memory or pretending your pain never happened. It means processing those experiences until they no longer control you. It means learning the lessons they carry, taking what is useful, and letting go of the rest. If you do not do this work, you will keep repeating the same mistakes, no matter how much you change your surroundings. When your inner world is in order, your outer actions become more deliberate. You are no longer driven by fear or impulse. You no longer react to life like a leaf tossed by the wind. You move like a ship guided by a steady hand on the wheel. Even when life becomes unpredictable, you remain anchored because your clarity and discipline are rooted inside, not in external conditions. Some people avoid this inner work because it is uncomfortable. They prefer to distract themselves with constant activity, work, entertainment, noise, anything that keeps them from sitting quietly with their own mind. But avoiding this discomfort is like avoiding cleaning your home because it feels tiring. The longer you leave it, the worse it becomes. Eventually, you must face it if you want to live in a space of peace. Start by observing your own thoughts without judgment. Notice which thoughts keep returning, which memories you keep revisiting, which worries you keep feeding. These are signs of where disorder lies. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me move forward, or is it keeping me stuck? If it is keeping you stuck, it needs to be addressed, not hidden. Another step toward inner order is aligning your actions with your values. Many people feel unsettled because they live in conflict with themselves. They believe in honesty but tell lies. They value health but neglect their body. They want peace but feed anger. This inner conflict creates constant tension, and no amount of external comfort can remove it. But when your actions match your values, your mind becomes calmer. You stop fighting yourself. You begin to live in harmony with your own principles, and that harmony radiates into every part of your life. Creating order inside also means simplifying your mental space. You do not need to hold on to every opinion, every argument, every piece of news. The world is full of noise, and if you allow all of it to live in your mind, it will be impossible to think clearly. Learn to release what is not yours to carry. Not every battle requires your involvement. Not every piece of information deserves your attention. Once you begin creating inner order, you will notice a shift in your outer life without even trying. Your relationships will improve because you are no longer projecting your own chaos onto others. Your work will become more focused because your mind is no longer divided. You will feel lighter because you are no longer weighed down by unexamined emotions. This is why all true transformation begins within. You can decorate your house, change your wardrobe, or travel to the other side of the world, but if you take the same disordered mind with you, nothing will feel different for long. The environment may change, but your experience will remain the same. The strongest foundation for a fulfilling life is not built outside, it is built inside. When you master your inner order, you can walk into chaos and remain steady. You can face storms without losing yourself. You can adapt to change without fear because you know your peace does not depend on what is happening around you. So before you rush to fix what is outside, turn inward. Clear the clutter. Heal what is wounded. Align your actions with your values. Protect your mental space from noise and distraction. Once there is order inside, the outside world will begin to reflect that order back to in a world that moves faster every day. People have lost the ability to pause. They react to life instantly, without thinking, without observing, without understanding. Someone says something offensive and they immediately respond with anger. A challenge appears and they instantly panic. A piece of bad news arrives and they assume the worst. This constant reactivity drains their energy, clouds their judgment, and often leads them to regret their actions later. To think correctly, you must master the pause. The pause is not weakness, it is power. It is the space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. In that space lies your freedom. Without it, you are a slave to every impulse, every emotion, every trigger the world throws at you. With it, you become the master of your mind and your life. The pause allows you to step back from the storm of the moment and see things clearly. In that moment of stillness, you can ask yourself, what is really happening here? What is the best way to respond? Will this matter tomorrow, next week, or next year? By pausing, you give yourself the chance to act with intention rather than react out of habit. Most people think speed equals strength. They believe the faster they respond, the more in control they are. But speed without clarity is recklessness. It's like firing an arrow without aiming. Fast but useless and often dangerous. The pause is the aim. It ensures your energy is directed with precision. Mastering the pause does not mean you never act quickly. It means that even when you act fast, your action comes from a place of clarity, not panic. A skilled swordsman can strike in an instant, but that instant is backed by years of training, awareness, and timing. In the same way, when you master the pause, your actions, even in urgent situations, are guided by wisdom, not impulse. Pausing also protects you from the influence of other people's emotions. When someone tries to provoke you, their goal is often to pull you into their emotional state. If they are angry, they want you angry. If they are afraid, they want you afraid. Reacting instantly means letting them control your mind. Pausing breaks that control. It allows you to remain grounded in your own state, not theirs. The pause is a skill you must train. At first, it will feel unnatural. You might find yourself reacting before you even remember to pause. That's normal. But over time, with awareness and practice, you will notice a gap between the trigger and your reaction. That gap will grow, and in it, you will find the freedom to choose wisely. One way to train the pause is through conscious breathing. When you feel triggered, take one deep breath before you speak or act. This small act forces you to slow down, giving your mind a moment to process. That single breath can prevent hours of regret. Another way to train the pause is by practicing observation without judgment. When something happens, instead of labeling it as good or bad right away, simply note what is happening. Observe it like a witness, not a participant. This mental distance gives you the clarity to respond effectively. The pause also helps you save energy. Every reaction costs you something: time, focus, emotional stability. When you respond impulsively to every little thing, you scatter your energy in all directions. But when you pause, you can decide which situations deserve your energy and which are not worth it. This allows you to protect your inner peace and use your strength only where it matters. There will be times when pausing feels difficult, when emotions run high, when the pressure is intense, when others demand an instant answer. In those moments, remember, most situations do not require an immediate response, even if it feels like they do. You can take a moment. You can think. You can choose. When you master the pause, people will notice something different about you. They will see that you are not easily shaken. They will sense that your actions are deliberate, not accidental. They will realize that you cannot be manipulated into reacting without thought. And because of this, they will respect you, even if they cannot explain why. The pause is also a source of inner strength during conflict. When you refuse to be pulled into chaos, you keep your power. You can hear words without letting them wound you. You can see problems without letting them overwhelm you. You can face challenges without losing your balance. In truth, the pause is the mark of mental discipline. It shows that you are not controlled by the moment. You control the moment. You decide when to act, how to act, and whether to act at all. And that decision made in clarity will always be stronger than one made in haste. So, the next time life tries to pull you into an instant reaction, stop, breathe, wait. Let the wave pass before you move. You will find that in those few seconds of stillness, you hold the greatest power of all. The power to choose your own path instead of letting the world choose it for you. This is the way to lasting peace and lasting power. Your mind is not a fixed thing. It is a living, changing force. Just like the body, it can be strengthened or weakened depending on how you use it. And just like the body, it will not become strong by accident. It requires deliberate training every single day. The difference between a weak mind and a powerful one is not talent, not luck. It is training. If you do not train your mind, the world will train it for you. And the world does not care about your clarity, your peace, or your purpose. The world will fill your mind with distractions, noise, and fear. It will pull your attention in 100 different directions until you forget who you are and what you want. That is why training your mind is not optional. It is survival. Training your mind daily means creating habits that sharpen your thinking and protect your focus. It is not something you do only when life feels difficult. It is something you do even on good days, especially on good days. Because the strength you build in times of peace is the strength you will rely on in times of challenge. Start with awareness. Every day, spend time observing your own thoughts, not controlling them, not judging them, just observing. Notice where your mind goes when it is left alone. Does it wander toward fear, toward anger, toward gratitude? Awareness is the first step in training, because you cannot strengthen what you do not understand. Next, feed your mind deliberately. Just as your body becomes what you eat, your mind becomes what you consume mentally. This means choosing books, conversations, and information that build you up instead of tearing you down. It means spending less time with noise and more time with wisdom. You cannot fill your mind with trash and expect it to produce treasure. Training also means challenging your mind. Just as a muscle grows through resistance, the mind grows through facing problems, solving them, and learning from them. Avoiding difficulty will keep your mind weak. Seeking growth through challenge will make it strong. Each time you push through discomfort, you expand your mental capacity. One of the most powerful forms of mental training is discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. It is sticking to your principles even when it is inconvenient. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you strengthen the trust between you and your own mind. That trust is the foundation of confidence. Daily training also involves removing what weakens your mind. This could be habits like overthinking, complaining, comparing yourself to others, or constantly seeking external approval. These habits drain your mental energy and make you more vulnerable to stress and distraction. Replacing them with habits of gratitude, problem solving, and focus will make your mind more resilient. Understand this: mental training is not always exciting. In fact, much of it is quiet, repetitive, and invisible to others. Reading a page of a book, meditating for 10 minutes, writing down your thoughts. These are small acts, but done daily, they change you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Just as water shapes stone over time, these small acts carve strength into the structure of your mind. Training your mind also means preparing for adversity before it arrives. Most people wait until they are in the middle of a crisis to try to become strong. But in those moments, it is too late to start building. You must train when the seas are calm so you can steer your ship when the storm comes. This is why athletes train in the off-season, why warriors sharpen their swords before battle, and why you must strengthen your mind in everyday life before the challenges arrive. The benefits of daily mental training will appear slowly at first, but they will build with time. You will notice that you are less reactive to stress. You will find it easier to focus on what matters. You will recover faster from setbacks. People around you will sense that you have a stability and strength that is rare. And most importantly, you will feel that strength within yourself. There will be days when you do not feel like training your mind. Days when you are tired, distracted, or unmotivated. These are the most important days to train. Because it is on these days that your discipline grows the most. The mind, like the body, strengthens when you work it in resistance, not when it is easy. Training your mind daily is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming prepared. Life will test you, through uncertainty, through loss, through pressure. When those moments come, you will not have to hope you are strong enough. You will know you are, because you have trained for it every single day. So, make the commitment now. Every day, do something to strengthen your mind, something that builds clarity, discipline, and focus. Protect it from weakness, feed it with strength, and challenge it to grow. Over time, this training will become part of who you are. Your mind will no longer be a servant of your emotions or the chaos of the world. It will be your greatest weapon, your greatest shield, and your greatest ally.